I think it's, now I think they accept me. As far as, might not like me, but they accept me.
Bob Teschker is coming around to the new captain.
Just learning his little ways, his odd ways, or not odd ways, but his ways of doing things. And once we kind of get accustomed to it, it's not hard to take at all. Just for myself, yeah. Things that we do, we don't like to do, but we have to do them anyways. So myself, I think he's come out to be a pretty nice guy.
Even though you don't, I mean, do you always obey his orders?
Well, sometimes you can't. You know, little things you may not always agree with or may not do. With the bigger things, you usually go along and you do.
Gordy Lee is less receptive.
Captain Jackson, if he had to push us, we knew we had to do it. I mean, there was a definite, solid reason. And if he ever got the chance, which he usually did, he told us the definite reason. He understood us and he cared for us. Whereas I think with Captain Rice, he'll push us. And if he has a reason, which I have yet to find out, he won't tell us. It's mission before men. Mission before men. We got to do this. You know, sorry guys, this is the way it's got to be. The guys could be dead tired, but it's mission before men.
It's like Gordy said, Captain Jackson looked out for his men, you know. He had a lot of respect for his men. And if one of us got hurt, it really hurt him, you know. And I don't think that Captain Rice feels that way. He worries more about his rank than he does anything else. It's the way I feel about it anyway.
And this is just a psychological effect, more or less, because when somebody's real sarcastic and tells you, you will do this, most people's attitudes say, well, I'll see about what I'll do, or what I'll do.
As a company commander, is it necessary to be liked by your men?
No. Not really necessary to be liked. You got to be respected more than you got to be liked. Naturally, any man wants his people to at least think kindly of him. But you can't. You got to draw the line someplace. You got to be in charge, and being in charge, there are some people who just don't like to have people in charge of them, and no matter who you are, they're not going to like it. So you just got to do your job that you're in the Army to do, namely be a commander, and anything else that you get, being liked. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, that's the way it goes.
Second Squad goes its own way, modifying the captain's orders to suit the changing conditions of each day and its own sense of independence. Gordy Lee is setting up a Claymore mine.
Hey, it'll do a job. You cage, all right? You do me a favor. You walk down the street for me. And I'll send it. So sorry to your wife. Oh, so long, sweet journey.
The men take a mid-afternoon siesta, their radios playing softly, their thoughts to themselves. May 1st, 1970. D-Day for the massive movement of troops across the Vietnam border into Cambodia, striking at the suspected headquarters of the North Vietnamese command group, COSVIN. The first American unit to combat assault into Cambodia is Charlie Company. The men are uptight, as they say, apprehensive and alert. Captain Rice is in tight control, facing his most serious test in combat as a company commander.
Passes 2 down and a negative. Move down here where to get that next yellow smoke is and set up 2 to 6. Okay, we took ground to air, about 200 mics. Let's see how that goes. Okay, you see where all the people are down here? We're down here towards me. Come to the left. Come to the Sierra Echo.
But the contact is scattered and insignificant, and in 2 weeks of patrolling the Fishhook region of Cambodia, no casualties are suffered by Charlie Company. The elaborate military trap having failed, the mission changes to a search for enemy supplies. The company pulls out for a while, then returns to Cambodia after a few weeks in Vietnam to a rugged hill with steep ridge lines to search for enemy weapons and supplies. It is the most difficult patrolling the men have experienced. Physically exhausted, the men are also emotionally frustrated. The company has taken its first serious attack in 4 months. A Vietnamese scout is dead, the new lieutenant and one of the men from 2nd Platoon are wounded, and there are no enemy bodies to show for it. The terrain itself tortures the men.
Well, there's too damn hills. Last time I was in Cambodia, it was all flatland, rolling hills. But now we're up here in a darn mountain, and it's just like mountain climbing, only with about a 90-pound pack and a weapon. It's hard to sleep at night because you're on a slant all the time. Just a hassle.
An elaborate North Vietnamese base camp is discovered, with enough bunkers for a battalion. And for a while, Captain Rice is hopeful the company has found an important cache. But not Dudley.
Well, it might be Tennessee in here. I doubt it. Old man seems to think it is. They been here? Yeah, they've been here. Got fresh built bunkers on the other side over there.
They haven't been gone too long. Maybe 2 days. What you got? Hate to be wearing them. How's that? Looks like a bit of shrapnel down front.
Charlie Company tries to take some vengeance on the enemy, but even that is frustrating. The bamboo is wet.
There it is, folks. The fire of the century.
Some of the veterans are missing as Charlie Company continues the search. PFC George Rivera, who was so short and so worried, couldn't wait to get back to New York, so he extended his tour in Vietnam in return for an immediate 30-day leave to go home. Spec 4 Glenn Hindley, who refused to fire his weapon, was sent to the rear to wait out his final days in country while his entire mortar platoon was abolished. Doc Howe is still in the field, asking for a rear job after 6 months in the bush. John Schultz got one and got out. Bob Teschker was given a radio to carry and switched to another squad. Carlton Dudley is planning to extend his tour in Vietnam for 40 days, so he can get out of the Army sooner than scheduled. After 2 more weeks in Cambodia, the orders come to prepare to withdraw back to Vietnam. Mission accomplished. Charlie Company has skidded up and down the side of a hill, searched it, found nothing of value, and almost exhausted itself. Everyone is still alive.
Well, we should be getting out of here today. Got to get about 2 trees out of here, so it'll give the aircraft a good approach and exit.
How are you going to get them out?
1 bird at a time, probably. That's the only way.
What are you going to do with the trees?
Just blow them.
The landing zone is ready.
It's a bad thing. The only place I know around back in the world, you know, my own buddy, a body builder. I'll pay. Really hardcore. I know you're hungry if you call that. That's not bad. I know you're hungry. What? Ham and eggs.
For 2.5 months, Charlie Company has worked for, watched, and tested its new commander. Now, even those who first fought his orders and criticized him most are giving Captain Rice their grudging respect.
Yeah.
Gordy Lee.
We're getting along a lot better than we are. We're still not gelling properly, but we're getting along a lot better than we were before. He's starting to give us more breaks, which help us, because then we're more ready in case we do hit something, and we're stopping earlier now and running patrols, this kind of thing. We're starting to get back to the old Charlie Company now. I think with a little bit more time, we'll be right up tight. Things are definitely improving.
I think everything's squared away now. He's getting a little better anyway.
You think humping up and down these hills is what straightened it out?
That would definitely straighten you out.
Hang loose on smoke a minute. Stop smoke.
Captain Rice does not tell the men, but privately, he confides that he is becoming attached to them, worrying about their well-being, getting a sense that Charlie Company is his now. But even so, Captain Rice has taken the first step toward leaving Charlie Company, passing the tests that may get him a transfer to train for a new job as a helicopter pilot. Sergeant Dunnick takes his squad, the men he is committed to keep alive, across the border from one war zone to another, returning with Charlie Company to the more familiar forests of Vietnam, counting the days until getting out of the violent, unforgiving jungle the men don't want to believe is part of the real world. One of the veterans, Spec 4 Bob Jackson of North Plainfield, New Jersey, wrote a poem about the world of Charlie Company.
There's too many little things that make this war the kind of war it is. So when I wrote the poem, I tried to put down the way I felt by some of those little things. I couldn't possibly get them all in, but I tried to put down what I felt and in a way maybe convey that feeling to the people back in the world. The heat and the stench of the air, a sick feeling in your stomach day after day, smell of body odor and the choking dust in your throat, eyes that burn from sweat and are tired and painful from squinting, the ache in your back and neck while you stand waiting to move, and a pause for a minute and a quick cigarette. That deserted second from reality when your whole body reeks with tension at an unknown sound or a shadow in the bamboo each day that goes by and the disappointment you feel every time you look at a calendar in the hypocritical way that time seems to disappear. When mail comes and a letter for you, which you embrace mentally and find it hard not to do physically, the anticipation while you read, trying not to read it too fast for fear you'll miss something or it will all be over too soon. A buddy who means the world to you, but who you sometimes despise and is a pain in the ass to have around. Even here, there's natural beauty, a small flower patch of ground, a bird's call, and the grace of a butterfly. But frustration and disappointment become a laughable thing. But always, there's the conflicting emotions to smile or say to hell with it and cry.
What was it like to be a soldier in Vietnam? We've heard it argued, correctly I think, that no one can really know what it was like unless they were there. But to the extent that pictures and sound can provide an approximation, I cannot think of any film that did so better than what you have just seen.
Tomorrow night on The Eagle and the Bear, 1968, Communist troops attack Saigon and the Tet Offensive begins. Stay tuned as bodybuilder Jake Steinfeld pumps up the laughs on A&E at the Improv. Next.